We find a fraction of a number by dividing it by the denominator of the fraction. So we can find half of a number by dividing by 2, a third by dividing by 3, a quarter by dividing by 4. To find a fifth, we divide by 5, a sixth, we divide by 6, a seventh, we divide by 7, and so on. So what is 1/3 of 24? Well, I've shown it here with 24 circles, and we can see as a fraction we're looking at 1 part out of 3. So we can see that 1/3 of 24 is 8, and what we've really done is divided 24 by 3. And because 24 divided by 3 is 8, 1/3 of 24 is 8. 1/5 of 30. Well, here you can see we've divided 30 circles into 5 groups. And if we're finding 1/5, we're looking how many in just one of those groups. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. So 1/5 of 30 is 6. Now 1/8 of 24, if we divide 24 into 8 groups, and we're looking at one of those 8 groups, we can see we have 3, because 24 divided by 8 is 3. Now it gets more difficult when the numerator isn't a 1. So we know that to find 1/5, we divide by 5. So to find 2/5, we can divide by 5 and then multiply by 2. Or we can do it the other way round. We can multiply by 2 and then divide by 5. But as long as you remember that finding a fraction of a number, the denominator's what we divide by and the numerator's what we multiply by, you'll be able to work out the answer. So just so we're clear on this, we know that to find 1/6, we divide by 6, but to find 5/6, we can divide by 6 and then multiply by 5, or we can multiply by 5 and then divide by 6. And to find 1/8, we divide by 8, 3/8 we divide by 8, then multiply by 3, or the other way round. So what is 2/5 of 30? Well, here you can see we've got 30 circles. We've divided them into 5 groups because that's our denominator, but we've got 2 groups coloured because we don't want 1/5, we want 2/5. So 30 divided by 5 is 6, which tells us 1/5, which tells us how many in one of these groups. So we've divided by our denominator, and then we take that answer and we multiply it by our numerator. So 6 times 2 is 12. So 2/5 of 30 is 12. But notice it also works if you do the steps the other way round. So rather than 30 divide it by 5 then times it by 2, we can do 30 times it by 2, then divide the answer by 5. So 30 times 2 is 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. So we come to the same answer, whichever way around we do it. What is 5/6 of 24? Well, we can divide 24 by our denominator. 24 divided by 6 is 4, and then we can multiply that number, that answer, by our numerator. So 4 times 5 is 20. What is 3/8 of 24? Well, if we divide by our denominator, 24 divided by 8 is 3, and then we take that answer, we take that 3, and we multiply it by our numerator, which in this case is also 3, to get our answer. So 3/8 of 24 is 9.